What's up, guys? This is my instruction set on how to replace and flush your motorcycle coolant. First step, it's not necessary, but I'm gonna go ahead and jack up my motorcycle on my rear stand here. You don't have to use your rear stand. You can just leave your bike on its kickstand and do this whole process. Okay, to get your motorcycle up on your kickstand, it's gonna be two things. You're gonna focus on this point here. It's gonna be the exact same one on the other side. And go ahead and just fit your rear stand in. And my recommendation is taking your passenger peg right here. I'm going to do mine on the other side. Lift the bike up. And you're just going to push down on the rear stand until she's up and on. The next step is going to be taking off your fairings. It's going to be 2 5mm hex bolts up here and then 3 7mm hex bolts back here. And then there's going to be one electrical turn signal to pull out. I'll show you everything now. Once that's done, you can go ahead and go over to the other side of the bike, do the exact same thing. Don't forget the indicator, pull it out, and then we're on to step 3. As step 3, once you have both of your left and right side fairings off, you're gonna wanna locate where your radiator cap is and where your water pump drain bolt is. Now, disclaimer, coolant does get very hot, up to 230 degrees sometimes. So please, before you do any maintenance on your coolant system, make sure that your cooling system is cold to a touch. Okay guys, our next point is to go ahead and drain the coolant from our drain bolt here. First off, before we do that, we're gonna go ahead and take off my radiator cap. You're gonna have to do this to allow the system to come out. Obviously, we're gonna have a little bit flow out of there. It's gonna be a-okay. Go ahead and get this full thing off. We can go ahead and take off our drain bolt down here using your socket wrench, 10mm hex head. Gonna go ahead and just take off this bolt. Once you get it loosened, you can go ahead and just do it by hand. Once the coolant has been drained, we can go ahead and take our drain bolt. We replace the washer. It's recommended to place the washer if you haven't done this for a while. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the drain bolt back into the housing, tightening it up all the way by hand until it's tight. And we're gonna come ahead and come through with our torque wrench here. It's set for 10 Newton meters of force as recommended by the manufacturer. Just remember, always check your manual for certain torque specifications. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten this until we feel a little click. Felt it right there. And that's all. Once we get our drainage bolt back in, we're gonna go ahead and put a funnel into the radiator cap. You're gonna go ahead and get yourself your distilled water, and we're gonna go ahead and put it in there. But quickly, there's just one other thing we gotta go do on the other side of the bike. Once the coolant is drained, the drainage bolt's back in, and your funnel is ready on the other side, we're gonna go ahead and twist our radiator bleeder valve open. Mine is an aftermarket radiator, so my bolt just comes all the way out. If you have an OEM one for this bike, the KTM RC390, it's 3 turns, and that should be all. I'm gonna go ahead and take it out. I'm gonna go ahead back over to the other side, start pouring water. Once we see water flowing out of here continuously, we're good to put this bolt back in, and we can close off the whole system, ready to flush it out. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead, taking your distilled water, we're gonna pour it down the radiator. remembering to make sure that we're looking at the other side to see if water is coming out of the bleeder valve. As you can hear, water came out on the other side. Now we're good to take our funnel out. I'm going to go ahead and come back in with our radiator cap. Just nice and firmly press it down, get it on, and then on to the next part. Now, once you get your bleeder valve back in, and your radiator cap is on and your drainage pan is on, we're gonna go ahead and turn on the motorcycle. Go ahead and hit the starter. As you might be able to tell, the bike is on behind me. We're gonna go ahead and wait for it to warm all the way up. I'll show you exactly what that means in 1 second here. Looking here, this is my temperature gauge. I'm gonna wait for it to go all the way up until it hits this mark and the fans turn on. As you could hear, the fan kicked on. Turn off the bike. Now you're gonna wait about an hour or so. Always remember, check your temperature gauge. Okay, now that the bike is cooled to a touch, we can go ahead and take off my radiator cap once again. And now we can go ahead and take off drain bolt again and just let it drain out. Now that the water is drained out mostly, we can go ahead and put the drainage bolt back in. Tighten it by hand. And we're gonna go ahead, come in with our torque wrench again. Again, looking at your manual, mine's 10 millimeters of torque. And there we go, she clicked. Now again, just like we did with the water, gonna go ahead and take our coolant, get it ready to go down. But first off, I'm gonna come around to this side of the bike, show you just a little bit better. Gonna go ahead, take off our bleeder valve again. Once it's out, keep it safe. Come back over to the other side. And we can start filling into the funnel. See, it's draining out on that side. Good sign. Go ahead and take the drainage bolt back. Go ahead and twist it back in. Tightening it down until it feels tight. Now we can come back to the other side. Grab our radiator cap, go ahead and reinstall it, and now we can start the bike back up again. Now again, we're going to wait for it to heat up. Once the fans kick on, and I'll be right back with you. Now, once the bike is heated up with the new coolant inside, you're going to go ahead and locate your coolant reservoir. It has a cap. You're going to go ahead and take that off. Put your trusty dusty funnel back in, and we're going to fill it up, and we're going to make sure that it hits in between the low and high side. We want to be right in the middle because coolant does expand, and it will expand into this tank. Just do it little by little. Don't go too fast. go around and check the other side really quick. Just about in between our full and minimum line, so that's good. Take my funnel out, twist the radiator cap back on. And the only thing left to do now is to put our fairings back on the bike. Kudos for making it this far. That's pretty much how easy it is to replace and flush your motorcycle coolant. The last part, I'm not going to show you this because I showed it you in the beginning, but it's just putting your fairings back on. And I just wanted to give a quick disclaimer on how to actually dispose of old coolant. Obviously, this was all my old coolant here, mixed with a slight little bit of water. I put it back into the container that I used, so I can just put the cap back on. You can throw this out in the trash, or you can actually go to a special recycling place. It's totally up to you. I don't recommend keeping your old coolant. You're never really going to reuse it. So yeah, thanks guys. Hope you enjoyed, and I hope you learn how to replace and flush your motorcycle coolant for the future. Peace out and ride safe.